Welcome everybody to weekly Facebook Live Breathwork Edition. Here I'm your host, R. Christian Minson, former director of the Breathwork program at Rhythmia Life Advancement Center, Guanacaste, Costa Rica. I'm a certified transformational breath facilitator for the last 13 years, senior trainer with the Transformational Breath Foundation, uh, best-selling contributing author, award-winning speaker, spirit-based coach, former monk, which we mentioned in the beginning things there with good old Bryce Tyson, and basically your catalyst for awakening and transformation. So I'm here to help you grow and evolve, and today our topic is your greatest gift. We're looking at what is the greatest gift you possess, how blessed each and every one of us is to have this, and how to maximize that gift to the fullest. So stay tuned. This is going to be a lot of fun. Dattatreya, Dan, hello. Did I say that right? Dattatreya. Yes, I think so. What does that mean, Dan? I know it's a spiritual name there. All right, so why are we talking about this subject? I always like to tune in a little bit to what's the real relevance. And so much of the time we can become disillusioned with life. We thinking that we don't have all we want, or we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, or even just that the life like now in these virus times is dealing us a blow to our freedom to move about as we please. And a lot of times then we spend so much time thinking about the future, how when can I make things better, or we think about the past, how great it was. We start to make up in our mind that the past maybe was better than it was, and when we dwell too much in that past, we tend to start to feel feelings of regret, of shame, of what I could have done, what I should have done, and it can spiral down very easily. The same as if we spend a lot of time looking into the future, focusing on that, then we tend to dwell more in anxiety and stress about what's to come. How is this all going to turn out? Am I going to survive? How am I going to make ends meet? All these different things get us very riled up. Both sides basically provide us with a plethora of emotions that aren't necessarily the best for us. So the bottom line is that there's only one place that you can really make a difference in your life, that you can take control, take command, and it's also only one place where you can truly find happiness, where your happiness can grow, and that place is the gift that you have been given. So let's get into that. First, Dan said Dattatreya is the Trimurti avatar of Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. It was given to me by India. Beautiful. Thanks for asking, and thanks for telling me. I didn't realize that was the name of that triumvirate entity, Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, Eastern spiritual philosophy, of which I know a lot, but I didn't know that name, so thanks. All right, so what is the gift? What is this gift that I've built up so much for? Well, the greatest gift that God has given us is now, and that's why they call it the present. You get it? Present is our greatest gift. And so I love little word plays like that, because they really are very significant. And the present, now, here and now, is where life happens. It is as we said, if you're thinking in the past, thinking in the future, you're actually removed from actual life. Life continues to happen around you, but it's like life's happening and you're over here and life goes right on by, or you're here in the past and life goes right on by. Some may say that you're really dead to life in those moments, that any moment that you're not fully present, you're actually disengaged with life and virtually dead to life. In fact, there's some people who get into the macabre, the things like why vampires become so prevalent, so what is it, popular, or other kinds of scary creatures, or zombies, for instance. And zombies have been fairly popular in the media and such in the recent past. And if you think about it, this is why, because so many of us are actually, in essence, walking zombies. As you're dead to life by living in the future, living in the past, you're no longer here present, and there's a zombie-like quality to life. And I think when these things become popular in our popular culture, it's because there is this energy that we find happening in actual culture. Not that like real zombies exist, but that energy is existing. And Catherine Chambura shows up. Hey, good to see you. It's been a while, been a long while. I think last time was when we were doing our presence process classes. She was with me there, so welcome. And so back into it. The essence is, and my spiritual teacher back there, Paramahansa Yogananda, you can see, he had a quote: "Live each present moment completely, and the future will take care of itself." Live each present moment completely, and the future will take care of itself. This, when I was a monk, especially for 10 years, it was a mantra that I'd repeat. We even had a poster of that with a nice lotus flower and the quote below. And it's such a great reminder. Live each present moment completely. It means be fully engaged in the present moment, and the future will take care of itself. The things that we're worried about will play out and will resolve. Just think about it. Just think about now, a time in the past where you were worried about something in the future, and that has come to pass, and you still survive. You made it through. You're better for it. Oftentimes, you gain more wisdom, more understanding, and it comes to pass. The future takes care of itself. So now, I would say the future is going to take care of itself whether you're living that present moment completely or not. So you have a choice. If you don't live completely in that present moment, then you can get worked up by the fears and anxieties or the guilt and shame. Or if you do live that present moment completely, then you're fully engaged with life. You are living this God-given experience that we have to the fullest, to the best of your capacity. And that usually comes with some sense of peace, some sense of joy, some sense of comfort. So the present moment is also where the presence is. This was a concept I was mentioning when Catherine joined on about the presence process, this book called The Presence Process, which is a breathwork related process, and one that I highly recommend everybody going on at least once in your life. Book by Michael Brown. The present is where the presence is. This is where, if you will, God is. The divine energy is active in the present moment. This another quote Yogananda used to say is, every moment you can experience eternity, because eternity is in every moment. It's like every moment is eternal, and therefore every moment is a portal into the eternalness of existence. So again, we have to be in that moment, though. We have to be present to the moment for it to unfold into the presence. Okay, we don't find that dwelling in the future. We don't find that dwelling in the past. Only here and now. The presence is the essence of you. Now, if you split from your essential self, then you're not going to be happy. This is what we're saying. If we're dwelling in the past or the future, we're actually out of alignment with who we are at our core. Who we are is in the present. This is in that present moment. You tap into the intuition that's available to you, your soul wisdom and guidance, and is this is the intelligence of you coming through to guide you merrily down the stream of life. All right, let's tune in here. Let's see. Catherine was saying yes to the present processing. Debbie Ballard, thank you. Hey, thank you for being on, and hello, and anybody else who wants to say hi, just say hi. And if you're liking anything, again, hit those buttons that give some thumbs up and some likes. Regine Jacobs, hello. She's on this week. He had a little bit of trouble getting on last week, I think, and this may be, by the numbers, it looks like broadcasting from my personal page is a better way to go. I don't know what the pros and cons are really, personal page versus my business page, but anyway, here we are. So this is a little bit what that gift is, the present. And Nessie, hey, yo, babes, nice to see you on. Randy Nichols, hello. So we really want to get into how to stay present. How this is really the meat and potatoes, or as I like to say, the tofu and broccoli, being a vegetarian/vegan, of the talk here. How do we engage ourselves to stay present? And there is what we call practicing the presence from my monastic days, especially. This is thinking on God, if you will. That's how we focus it. But if you don't like that term, focus on the divine, focus on the universal energy, focus on the energy of love, which is what I think the essence of God truly is. That by practicing the presence, it was like having a dialogue, a conversation consistently. Sometimes, a lot of time, it's a monologue, really. You're talking, though, to God, talking to him or her or that energy like a friend. We might chant and keep that presence foremost in mind. We had other techniques, like you might be, you work throughout the day. You can't be, say, chanting all day long at work, but we would put a little timer on the watch, and it would beep every hour or every half an hour. And when you hear that beep, just take a moment to reflect and say, I'm doing this in divine service, or I'm making that connection with the divine self within you. And then you go back to working until that beep goes off again. This practicing presence, basically Yogananda would say, whenever you think of God, you manifest his omnipresence within you. Or, so again, whenever you think of the divine, you manifest that divinity within you. And that is really what we're talking about here. And so by thinking of the divine in the present moment, it's not, again, about, I'll think about him in the future, or I thought about it in the past. It's right here and now. Another quote that really drives it home is, no matter which way you turn a compass, its needle points to the north. So it is with the true yogi, or the true person on the path, spiritual path, immersed in his many activities, but his mind is always on the Lord, or the divine. His heart constantly sings, my God, my divine, my love, most lovable of all. So this is inspiration to stay in that present. And as you practice this presence, we brings us into the present moment, and the gifts of the present moment start to manifest. So the greatest gift is here and now, but that's because that gift is like a door, or that gift is like a gift that has little gifts inside it. So as we come to the present, then we get the gift of our intuition. We get the gift of divine guidance. We get the gift of an overwhelming feeling of connectedness with all that is. And this is what I'm hoping for everybody. And this is what we're talking about. One more, another way. Whenever you see a beautiful sunset, think to yourself, it's the divine that's painted the sky. As you look into the face of each person you meet, think within. It's the divine that's become this form. Indeed, all of us are individualized forms of that divine energy. And so each one of us, each person you see, is essentially the face of God. Apply that trend through all experiences: the blood in my body, the reason in my mind, the love in my heart. All these things are existing to bring me closer to the divinity or God. So if you're out there, you want a teacher, somebody to help you along the way to remember all this, just look to the one that triggers you. This was a quote that I got off of Paola Castro, who I used to work with at Rhythmia. I used to teach. Michael Beckwith's teaching, The Answer Is You. She said, looking for a teacher, just look for who's triggering you. And boy, is that true. The triggering is just basically an offering to say, here's a lesson. Here's a lesson for you to learn if you want to take it. Of course, many of us, if we're unconsciously triggered, then we go down the rabbit hole of feeling abused or feeling disrespected or feeling whatever it is, feeling something done against me, feeling like a victim, basically. But if we actually take that trigger and say, oh, this is showing me something that needs to be resolved, what a trigger generally is an indication that something from the past, that we're still dwelling in the past. Basically, there was an incident that happened in the past that then we have some incident now in the present. We take the past and overlay it on the present and say, this is what I'm reacting to. I'm not even seeing you as the perpetrator. I'm seeing the old perpetrator here, and I haven't actually resolved that yet. So that when you're triggered, that's a great time to say, oh, I've got one of these. I'm still lingering in the past, meaning then I'm not fully present, meaning then that usually I'm not happy. I'm dwelling in guilt, shame, anger, whatever it is that I'm holding on to from that past. Right? And Randy's saying, Paola Castro, hearts. Yeah, she's a lovely soul. Petra Schwab, nice to see you. Absolutely good. Glad we're getting some agreements there. Have they taken out the like and heart buttons? Does anybody show me somebody if there is the ability to still do those? Maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, Facebook has changed its whole interface, and it took a little while to get used to. All right, so these teachers can be, may actually be a teacher of yours, and whether you're in high school or college or taking some kind of course, a teacher can always poke you a little bit deeper. It could be a partner. Found that to be quite true in my case, and I've often been the partner to be that teacher too, in bringing up triggers. Parent, a boss, a sibling, you name it. Your teachers are all around you to help remind you to stay present by helping you discover what kind of past stuff you're still holding on to, past baggage. It's time to let that baggage go. Stay present. Okay. Now, another way to stay present is to engage in serviceful work, meaning start doing things for others. When you do things for others, one, it gives you a focus. When you're actually involved in some kind of serviceful activity, now you're focused on it. That focus is what you're doing in the present moment. So you're very present, and when you get very present, they call that being in the zone, right? You may have heard that term before, being I'm in the zone. I felt like I was in the zone. Everything was just flowing and moving. This is one of the gifts of, the sub gifts of the present. The present helps when we're focused, we can then be in that flow, and that flow state is it's very pleasurable. It can be very enlightening. When you're in the flow, you start being able to do or perform better than you before. Divine inspirations start moving through. So again, all part of coming back to the present where you are. Deborah, we can't grow without our teachers. Yes, indeed. That's true. Our teachers, if we don't learn those lessons, we stay stuck in the mud, and life starts forward progressing, and we're still in the past. Tisha says, I'm usually the trigger. Well, that's, again, you and me, we can commiserate later. That I would say that's probably true of all of us. In fact, if you're triggered by somebody, chances are they're triggered by you as well. It's often a two-way street. So engaging in serviceful work, gratitude. This is a huge way to stay present. Michael Brown really brought this concept forth again in the presence process. He said, gratitude, when you're feeling gratitude, it is a sign that you are in the present and in the presence. When you feel gratitude, you are in that space of present moment awareness. You're not concerned about the future or dwelling in the past. You're here, and here is beautiful. So gratitude is a sign that you are present. Now, it's also, we can reverse engineer this, which I think is great with many things, that gratitude can be a practice to get you present. Meaning, if you're not feeling grateful, if you're, again, in the past about something, I wish that I, had taken that job, or I wish, that I hadn't married that person, or any kind of thing, you can start recognizing what you can be grateful for and say, well, I'm grateful for that person being a teacher of mine. I'm grateful that in not taking that position, that it led me to a myriad of a variety of experiences that I've had in my life that I've really enjoyed. I'm just grateful for the weather right now. I'm grateful for the fact that I got good food to eat. Whatever you can find to be grateful for, this is a practice to bring you into present moment awareness. And such a big one that I've shown this just about every week now. My introspection chart, which is shown, in a quick visual. You can see how good I've been doing. Green, red, I'm not doing so good. Yellow is just neutral. And I put gratitude. Wake up with gratitude, go to bed with gratitude. And why is that? Because sleep is that period where we come back to communing with our divine self anyway. So it's an involuntary communion. We have to go through it. And thank God it's there, because if not, we would run ourselves into an anxious mess and all have nervous breakdowns. But as we go into that sleep, we can make that sleep more fitful by starting to align our consciousness, rather than be all frenetic and then trying to get to sleep and it being restless and semi-productive. We can start to smooth out the vibrations of our thoughts and feelings by taking on a feeling of gratitude and just being aware of what we're grateful for. Then we go to sleep, and it's much more restful and fit. And then as we come out of sleep, we want to do is not just jump out of bed and then all of a sudden be, get into anxiety mode and move. We want to take some time to usher that vibration of peace and calmness that, that our sleep offered us, and be grateful. Again, be grateful. I'm grateful that I was able to sleep. I'm grateful that I have a comfy bed to sleep in, a house. I'm grateful that I'll have breakfast waiting for me, or that I can make some breakfast, whatever it is. So I put those on the morning and evening things, and that brings you then, you come out of that unconscious presence of sleep, and now you're bringing in your conscious awareness, and that is, where we strive to stay all day long until something kicks you off and you're worried about something, until the alarm beep goes off and you say, all right, presence. Again, why are we doing this? Because this is bringing you peace, this is bringing you calmness, this is bringing you focus, this is bringing you awareness, this taps you into your intuition. It is tapping you into your true self. Your true self is here in this present moment, and if as soon as you leave it, you're disengaged from life, and that usually doesn't feel good. At Rhythmia, where I worked, we called that, we were, one of the three things we're trying to do was merge me back with my soul. So there's this soul split. I would say, in that sense, the soul split happens every time we lose the present moment. Every time we dwell into the future, we've split from our soul. Every time we continue to dwell in the past, we split from our soul. When we become present, we're reunited with our soul, which is waiting there in the essence of the present moment. Georgina Blantz, hello, and Dattatreya, the chart looks interesting. Can you share more about it? What are you tracking? I shared more about it. Let's say this. I won't share much about it now, and just to say that it's an introspection chart. I did 5 habits for quarantine living, or something like that, for getting through quarantine living. It's one of my Facebook Lives that's now archived, either in Facebook archives or my YouTube page, R. Christian Minson on YouTube. Go to that and watch that one, and I explain all about it. But because introspection is one of those 5 habits, and the chart was the way that I developed, many of us developed back in the monastic days, to just check off. I mean, most of the things on the chart are those 5 habits. Meditation, did I meditate morning? Did I meditate evening? Study, did I study something spiritual? Introspection, did I actually introspect? Not just the chart, but writing, journaling. And service, did I perform service to others, as well as the gratitude, the time in bed, time I wake up, all sorts of different things. If you want that chart, you can email me, Christian@breathflow.com, Christian, Christian @breathflow, BREATHFLOW.com. I'll be happy to send it to you. When I was doing that thing, I mentioned it, and a number of people asked for the chart. I give you a basic one, you can fill it in, and it's just a great visual way to say, did I do that? Did I not do that? So hopefully that helps. Rennie Nichols is being triggered evidence of duality, and it's duality that can be observed from there. I'm not quite following. Is being triggered evidence of duality? I'd say being is evidence of duality. We are in duality. The essence of life is duality. The fact that, if you see somebody different than you, you're in duality. The only time we're out of duality is in that oneness, where you are completely merged with God, or the divine presence, the divine one, the one that all is. We all came from one, we divided. As soon as that division happened, there we have duality. So part of that presence is really recognizing that, as I was reading in what it was, the spiritual diary of Paramahansa Yogananda, where you look into the sunset, say God painted that. You look into somebody's eyes and you say that's God in another form. This is reducing the duality. This is remembering the oneness there. And again, it's in that remembrance where our joy and our happiness and peace lie. As we get scattered in duality, then we usually start suffering. We start feeling those feelings that aren't as pleasant for us to feel. So, Robbie, where's Miss you, man? Hey, well, it's good to have you back on here too. So, join me every Friday. So, Randy, is that answer that, or if you want to type the question a little bit more so I can answer it further? Deborah saying, Tisha, I call it a catalyst for change. Yeah, that's how I open. I say I'm your catalyst for evolution and awakening. So maybe that's another way of saying I'm your biggest trigger. I can be your biggest trigger. So here we go. All right. So we were talking about gratitude. Another thing, read The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle, I believe that's how you say his name, Eckhart Tolle. He wrote the book The Power of Now, and it's all about being present. So that's, I could spend 100 Facebook Lives talking about all of the concepts in there. But one that he uses that is my next real big one that I tend to always come to anyway is breath work. Eckhart Tolle talks about focusing on the breath as a supreme tool for keeping you present. And myself, as the breathwork facilitator and trainer, I've seen that breathwork, especially a formal process of breathwork, can really help to bring you to the present. Now, why is that? One is, have you ever thought about this? The only place that you can breathe is in the present moment. Have you ever thought about that? You take a breath. It's happening right now. So if you're going to focus on that breath, it brings you to the present moment. You can't breathe into the future. We will eventually breathe in the future, but that's when the future becomes now. We can't breathe in the past. We did breathe in the past where it was now, and now that now has become the past. But the only place we can actually breathe is in the present. So let's see here. Randy, yep, I'm convinced Eckhart Tolle is not from this planet. Which is yes. Observing breath is my best tool to stay present. Beautiful, Dattatreya. Regine is reading the Power of Now right now. Beautiful. That's such a confluence of presence right there. All right, so breathwork is the only place we can breathe is in the present moment. What's great, we were talking about triggers and teachers earlier. So the teacher brings a trigger up. Breathwork is a process on an emotional level that can clear those emotional triggers. It's one of the most effective emotionally cathartic experiences and processes that I'm aware of. That's why I've stuck with it so long. Like when I find something that works, I just stick with it. And like I said, I've been a breathwork trainer for the last 13 years. It is the foundation of health and wellness, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And emotionally, it is working. It brings up these emotional energy triggers, and it helps you to actually process them, to integrate them, to neutralize that energy and give you a chance then to not be triggered by those things anymore. And then spiritually, breath work is connecting you with who you truly are. The energetic intelligence of life force, what they call prana, which is imbued in the oxygen that we breathe in. This comes into our being more and more as we work with the breath, and that aligns us with the energy and intelligence of the presence of the creator of that intelligent prana. And you can think of prana as the most basic particle of intelligent spirit. And then we are built out of prana, condensed prana, materialized prana, essentially. But in essence, every bit of us are particles of intelligent life force energy. And the more that we breathe in this intelligent life force energy, the more that jogs our consciousness to align with that. And the intuition starts to flow. Remember, intuition, one of the benefits of being in the present moment. And breathwork brings that intuition because it's helping you to stay present. All right. So on that note, again, I am a teacher and trainer in the breathwork field. I do sessions, private sessions currently online through Skype or video conference. Very effective ways to work this process in light of the viral outbreak and our physical distancing. I still refuse to really buy into social distancing. It's a way of manipulating our consciousness to think that we have to stay apart from each other. No, we're still very social creatures. Keep that social closeness alive, and partly this is these Facebook Lives are to help us stay socially connected while we are physically distant. That's a wise thing to do in contagious times, but I don't buy into socially distancing for 1 minute. Okay. So I do these sessions. I also have recordings that you can do sessions on your own if you want to practice that. And I will be getting group sessions online here sometime in the near future. And on that note, to stay in touch with me, to stay in touch with all of the wisdom that's going on, these Facebook Lives, to know when they're happening, know which the topics are. Like me on Facebook, if you would. Friend request me. Like my business page, if you would. Inhale Life /Breathflow / R. Christian Minson. Like me on Instagram, YouTube. YouTube is where you can find the archives of all these. So I'm in all these places and want to keep providing you more and more material. On that note, too, if there's some kind of topic or some kind of thing that you're interested in, I'm happy to consider that and try to make that one of these Facebook Lives at this in some future time. Randy, Tisha, how do you facilitate breathwork virtually? When I did breathwork with you at Rhythmia, I couldn't stop the breath pattern without a physical touch. Well, it takes a skilled facilitator for one, and I coach you in the breath process, and if especially one-on-one. There at Rhythmia, you were 80 to 1 essentially, or we had 6 facilitators for 80 people or such. So we people could get around to you once in a while, but and so sometimes you're breathing and maybe you're breathing without some kind of guidance, and you get yourself into a pattern. If I'm watching you, you're the only person I've got on the screen to watch, and I can be coaching you. I can coach you in and out of the proper patterns and out of dysfunctional patterns and in proper patterns before they become something that gets out of control and you can't stop with touch. The other thing is that I can coach you to touch, what we call body mapping, to body map yourself, and that's an effective way to do it when I can't be physically present. So hopefully that explains that, and maybe you'll consider a session. Robbie is saying, wow, I'm starting to see breathing like life and death, or light and dark. The necessity of both, inhale and exhale. Thank you so much, Christian. Robbie, that's great. And to think about it, life is a cosmic fractal, if you will, a hologram. You know the concept of a hologram? Hologram is an image, and if you break that image up into multiple pieces, the interesting thing about a hologram is you don't just get pieces of the original image, every piece has the whole image in it. So the more you break it, the more whole images you got. This one is a great analogy for how spirit diversifies, and yet within each of us is the wholeness of spirit. Or like we said, each moment you can perceive eternity because eternity is every moment. So each moment has the essence of the eternity of all moments in it. And it's the same way with the breath. The breath then is a mini life and death. We are born, we birth and die with every breath we take. Inhaling, we bring in the life, and then exhale, we release life. And just think how casually we do that. We're born and we die. We're born and we die. We exhale out with complete confidence that there'll be another inhale waiting for us. And so it's a great metaphor for as we reach, as we live life to approach death. Death is that ultimate exhale. In fact, it's the last exhale we'll take. The last thing you do before you die is exhale. So that last exhale is just to say, there will be another inhale. Don't fret that we're going to have that exhale. Have the same confidence that you do as you exhale your breath, knowing you're going to have another breath in, that you do as you exhale that last breath of life, and know that new life will be coming to you. Robbie says, yes, excellent. Beautiful. And thanks for that. That's, great point here. All right, so wrapping up, basically saying, what if you did your best to stay present? If you practice some of these things, practicing the presence, look for your teacher triggers, trigger teachers, practice the gratitude, read The Power of Now, start getting along with breath work, come see me or otherwise. What if you did your best to stay present? Imagine how much more connected you might feel to life, to yourself, to others around you, and ultimately to the divine spirit that has brought you to life and is you in life. Practice the presence in various ways and see for yourself. That's my encouragement to you. And in that, I come to a close with this Facebook Live. I bow to you in the sharing of wisdom. And then, as I promised, the guitar back there will be employed now. Let me just grab it. And in thinking of, I always try to think of a song that's going to be, let's see if I can, there we go. It's going to embody the essence of what we were talking about today. And this song, because of one lyric, and hopefully you'll catch it, basically does it for me. And this is Imagine by John Lennon. So it's... Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. That was it. Yoo-hoo. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. living life in peace. Ooh, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. Nothing to kill or die for. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will live as one. There we go. In that present moment, we will live as one. Imagine that. Make it a reality. Join us, the dreamers, there. All right, so we got Robbie says, yes, thank you. Petra, imagine, the best Facebook Live ever, beautiful and great song. Robbie, oh my, many blessings, much love, my friend. You may say I'm a dreamer, right on, you and me both. Petra Swab, hope we stay dreaming. Us all. So until next week, namaste. R. Christian Minson signing off. See ya on the flip side.